Welcome to ThinkTech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm Jay Fidell.
And I'm Tatiana Cerullo.
In our show tonight, we'll cover the story of Hawaii's Tomorrow, the new business drive time series on 760 AM KGU radio.
It's business talk radio Monday through Friday on KGU. And guess what? ThinkTech is a part of it every Wednesday afternoon from 5 to 6 p.m.
Now that Hawaii's Tomorrow is being rolled out, we went down to take a look at it in its new digs at 1160 North King Street, Kalihi. First, we met the manager of its owner, Salem Media Hawaii, Jeff Coelho.
We've got 7 stations here, 4 FMs, 3 AMs, and of course, we occupy our own building here in downtown Kalihi, as I like to say.
It's a beautiful building, actually.
Yeah, one of the very modern for a radio station. Salem had the foresight and the vision to invest in the property and the building, and of course the state-of-the-art equipment that make our shows better on the air. You can't do good radio unless you have good equipment.
Agreed. So you're statewide?
Yeah, statewide. Our coverage, our signals go statewide. Our newest signal, AM 760, which is actually the first radio station ever in Hawaii, AM 760 KGU, went on the air originally in May of 1922, and it's also now our newest format. As we did an analysis back in the latter part of last year that identified a huge hole in the market for people who want to know about business. How do I save money in my business? How do I make money in my business? How do I handle employee problems? How do I handle a will? How do I handle my stocks? And so all these questions kept coming up, and we thought that what we would do is something a little different. Most people try to overload their guns in morning. We went the other way. We thought that the best way to go after a business clientele would be to get them on their way going home from work. Primetime time for local radio shows where listeners can actually call in, get involved, get the answers for their questions. And we're very happy to have the lineup that we have in Afternoon Drive, providing the answers to our business people who are looking for them. What makes good radio is the person at the other end of the mic having the ability to communicate, but they also got to know what they're talking about.
Radio is alive and well.
Yes, well, you and I, of course, we share the same passion for communication through the spoken word. And radio's foundation, in my opinion, the reason why it works so well, is it really is one-on-one magnified by thousands. Yeah. And so we're very happy here at Salem. Of course, our new station, AM 760 on the dial, part of the Wall Street Business Radio Network, is really targeting toward the business person, the person who's trying to make money and who isn't trying to make money or save money. So we figure it's going to be a very large audience,
Then we took a walk around the station. It's in a brand new building and it's got all the latest digital equipment. It's new and it's high tech. It's great to see this happening. Radio is alive and well in Hawaii. We took our walk with operations manager and longtime radio guy, Jack Waters.
Well, I've been in radio here locally for over 30 years, and it's changed so much over the years. Everything now is digital, whereas in years gone by, we actually had analog lines. Everything was wired to a specific pot on the board. Now, the boards are digital. Now everything is run from computer. Our whole library, everything that we have on the air, commercials, public service announcements, half-hour programs, music for all the stations is on a couple of servers. What you see here are the actual computers that run all 7 of our stations. As you know, with radio, cutting costs has become more and more important in today's economy. So one of the ways that we do that is simply by automating many of the functions. We stream all of our stations online 24/7. And Hawaii's Tomorrow, of course, has a key time slot, afternoons at 5 o'clock. Great time to tune in as you're making your way home in the traffic. Now, as a business talk radio station, the demographics really would key in about 25 to 54. Business people, entrepreneurs, people who want to get into a business of their own, who now have a place that they can tune to. But I'm sure there already are tens of thousands of people who tune in. So many people listen online now anyway. It's just become very, very convenient to catch your favorite radio station either online or on your handheld device or on your smartphone.
That you just happen to be
at the exquisitely right moment.
Make sure you tune in to AM 760 KGU weekday afternoons at 5 o'clock and catch Hawaii's Tomorrow. You'll be glad you did.
While we were there, we got to see more radio guys. Wendell Yamada, all-around creative consultant at Salem, and Rolly Abarca, our favorite board ops and audio engineer.
I think if there were a single company that would take this idea and say, well, you know what, it's not really about profit, it's about an initiative that we need to give back to the community. It was going to be Salem that was going to say, okay, we're going to do the green drive. It basically came down to the corporate culture here allowed us to do it. And that I think is a really
This is a good, it's good to work for a company like that, you know. So much in Hawaii is pure self-interest.
Right.
And all the crabs in the bucket, all doing self-interest, you know. And then you find, once in a while, you find a company that is really above that and trying to do, you know, community service, community good. And then you find a media company doing it. Because every media company has all this leverage, you know. And that's what's happening.
You know, but I like it, you know, and the thing I really like about it too is that the quality of Hawaii's Tomorrow from day to day to day is actually surprisingly strong. I mean, if you think about it, you know, normally when you say, wow, we're gonna have, you know, different hosts on different days, gee, it's like, you know, what's gonna happen today? But you know, universally across the board, every single host has been well spoken, and they have some sort of background in media. So when you listen to them, I mean, they're just really listenable people. They're always interesting and they move it forward. It's a top-notch show, and I'm really happy.
Oh, good, good. Okay, well, we all hope that you're going to stay happy. Everybody's going to work to keep you happy.
Thank you.
And we want to see the public, you know, sort of catch on to this. Do you have feedback? Do you know what's going on out there? People give you any feedback?
Yeah, actually, I actually do. Right now, the AM 760 in general, the combination of one being being a dedicated business channel, which we haven't had in this market for 8 years, coupled with the fact that we're actually doing something very different with our block of time for drive home. You know, we actually get we get a lot of feedback that comes in through emails, through phone calls, people see on the street, you know, and I've actually heard more comments just about AM 760 KGU than any other station that we have.
My name is Rolly, and I'm board op / engineer for Hawaii's Tomorrow, Monday through Friday.
What do you think of that show?
I think it's a pretty good show. It's pretty good for the community to understand that there's a lot of things going on that we don't know about, we need to know about to help, you know, help our economy, help our energy. It's just a great show.
So tell them, what should they do?
I think you should listen to Hawaii's Tomorrow on AM 760 KGU Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 p.m.
Then we thought we'd check in with some of the sponsors, including solar pioneer Cully Judd of Interisland Solar Supply, Al Whitworth of Island Cooling, and Brian Anderson of the UH Federal Credit Union.
Cully Judd, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great to see
I'm
you.
especially fine because oil is over $100 a barrel for the third or fourth day in a row.
Give me the analysis on that. Why does that make you feel fine?
Because it brings attention to a problem that must be solved, and it's a kind of, you might call a little tipping point. Over 100 people start thinking about it, and if we don't fix this problem, everything's gonna be hurt from continuing escalating energy prices.
You've been having these thoughts for what, 30 years, is it?
Well, the corporation that I work for was incorporated here in Hawaii in 1975.
It's come to our attention that there's a new radio show, and it's on KGU, emanating out of King Street there in Kalihi, run by Salem Radio. And Jeff Davis is doing this thing several days a week at drive time.
He's been in the sales end of the solar business for a long time, and he's taking what he knows a lot about, and you might call it the education sector of this technology. There's so much that people need to understand about it, and what the benefits are for the state, what the future is, and where things have to go. And when we started it, they didn't even talk about the environmental benefits of it. They talked about the ecological effects of what solar energy. The word environment didn't even come into it, and that's used all the time now. So if you just use the good sun that's up there, keep the reactors and radioactivity 93 million miles away, and use all that energy that's coming down from the sun one way or another, we'll all be better off. The whole world will be better off.
Is it just an ordinary radio show, or is it something other and different
We
than
love that it's about education. We love that it's about topics that are sort of, you can find information out there, but it's bringing all the information on energy efficiency and green and what it means to us. How can we save energy here in Hawaii?
What I hear you saying is that you're into the policy end of this as well.
We're a very small energy efficiency company, and we don't have the big backing of associations, the Solar Association, to help us. And we actually thought about that and thought Jeff was our perfect advocate to help us, raise awareness of our product and help talk about the policy in a way that benefited us as well.
What about the drive time? Has that got anything to do with your decision to sponsor the show?
We actually sponsored Jeff from before the drive
Oh, is that
time
right?
when he
Okay.
was just a weekend, 2
I
days a
remember.
week.
Is this a plan that's going to last 90 days or 6 months or more?
We feel that it's a great way for us to raise awareness of whole house fans and energy efficiency products, both to the commuter and also to those who make policy, and we hope to stick with it for a long time.
You're the manager of the credit union?
I'm the Vice President of Lending and Member Services, so I put together the loan programs to help people be able to borrow some of the monies that we have available.
Why did you pick Hawaii's Tomorrow as your sponsor?
Well, we felt they were a natural fit for the product we were trying to offer. We offer a green loan through our company that allows us to be able to give our members what they need.
So you feel your depositors like this? I mean, do you have feedback like that?
Yes, we've had a real good feedback because the hardest part we found with solar is the entry. It's the cost, the upfront cost of it, and waiting for those tax credits to come back.
Yeah.
So we've been able to give them that, and they've been real happy, and at a really good discounted rate. It's one of the things that we've been proud of being able to offer our members. I like what his energy level brings and what he focuses on. He's not just about one type of green energy, he's about all types of green energy. And it's been a nice change to see that out there, because you see some people, they're looking at one thing because they have an interest in one product. He looks at everything. I mean, he talks about, foam houses to, solar hot water. I mean, you never know what you're going to hear on there.
So I take it you've made a decision here that he is sufficiently knowledgeable for you.
I've learned a lot. Actually, after being on with him a bit, I ended up putting a photovoltaic system on my own home.
Is that right?
Yes, I mean, you start to learn so much about the ins and outs, and I felt a lot better about purchasing it because I knew a lot more.
Then we thought we'd spend some time with Jeff Davis himself, the original solar guy with a special talent and even a calling for radio, to see what motivates him to spend his time on Hawaii's Tomorrow.
Generically speaking, literature or media has an agenda, okay? And if they have an agenda, you may not always be getting the story that you need in order to make the right decisions. So with that in mind, we opened up the Hawaii's Tomorrow, apolitical, non-denominational. Of course, I'm right now currently doing the Monday and Friday drive home, 760 KGU business channel. Mm-hmm. And then I went out and I reached out. And I was very fortunate to bring in some very learned people. Again, that would be, for instance, on a Tuesday, I'll give you a rundown. We have the Aloha United Way. Norm Baker comes in, and they saw the common sense in having their own show. And I was so delighted because when Norm came in, he didn't come in and start up a round of how to get money through the front door, bringing in this nonprofit or this charity, please send your donations, not a word of it. So he's been going into social fabric, which is fantastic. The second group that comes on Wednesday is, what the heck's that? Oh, ThinkTech. Your group.
We might have some participation here.
And it seemed to fit right with you and your group. I know you've got more than one person lined up to come in, and they talk about technology, legal issues, business issues. Very important. We're on a money channel. But I feel that this drive home every day is a great place to catch everyone.
And how could we understand Hawaii's Tomorrow without checking in with some of the other radio hosts involved? So we took a few minutes to find out why Norm Baker of the Aloha United Way spends his time doing radio, and why Jay's partner, Keith Agena of Fidell, spends his time doing radio.
In general terms, the whole nonprofit sector in this community doesn't have a good voice. We don't have a strong voice, and we ought to. I mean, we're the fourth largest sector in this economy. People don't realize how large the nonprofit sector really is. And we do so much good work, and yet there's no reasonable national way for us to tell our story, and we just thought this was a great way to start. We started about 4 weeks ago, and we started by sort of laying a foundation, looking at a piece of work that the Hawaii Business Magazine did on the quality of life in Hawaii. And that quality of life in Hawaii report pointed out lots of places where we're doing good, but there's some that we're not doing so very well at. And so what we've been doing is taking each of those areas and spending a week and sometimes 2 weeks exploring what the problem is, how we are working on it in the community right now, and then possibly longer term solutions, and starting to figure out how we can get at the root causes of these problems so that 20 years from now we're not still addressing a homeless issue. The last 2 weeks actually we've been doing homeless, and we began last week with kind of defining the problem, talking with providers. We actually had 3 of the leading homeless shelter and care providers in the community come in and tell us about how they're doing their work and what that looks like and what their challenges are and those kinds of things. So I wanted to lay a bit of a foundation so everybody would understand the problem. Then next week we're going to bring in Mark Alexander, who's the governor's homeless coordinator.
Right.
A fellow named Kent Anderson, who was just hired by the Catholic Diocese to be their affordable housing coordinator. And then finally Senator Brickwood Gualteria, who heads the Urban Caucus. The Urban Caucus has been working on the homeless issue, specifically focusing on the urban core because it's such an important piece.
In the past few weeks, you have become a radio host. What is that like?
You know, I think the mechanics of it are something you just pick up when you get in. It's like jumping on the deep end of a pool. I mean, I'm not sure. I had no training in school, even in high school, on
You have
how
a
to
nice
do
voice,
this.
though.
Well, I guess I hear it on my head all the time, so I can't
Right,
tell.
you can never tell yourself.
But getting the guests, talking to the people, it's what we do every day. It's what you and I do every day, you
Right.
know.
Asking questions.
Yeah, right. You're going to be the next guest on the show, and we'll probably have a conversation just like this. You know, our conversations aren't heated. We don't argue. We disagree on certain things, but they're always interesting. We always learn something from each other, and that's what I kind of would hope that the show ends up being, is people learn something from it.
No question that legal training and experience helps you host a radio show.
No doubt. You know, we are, to a certain extent, trusted advisors, and I think we are privy to a lot of information, a lot of things that go on in our community, and you know, we can keep it within ourselves, but it really would do us, more good if we could get it out there to other people so we can all get together and we can all discuss it in a productive way. We want to help businesses. Ultimately, we help businesses, then everybody prospers and thrives, even in our industry. You know, lawyers are not there just to deconstruct. We're there to construct too. So if our business industry is robust, then that'll bring a lot of services for the rest of us to provide. And so the last show we did was on social media, and it was on how businesses can utilize that. And we had a person that runs a business, and he gave us good testimony on how that happened. So it's an important part of every business. It's certainly a change. The next show, we're considering doing it on housing, which I know that you have you're going to be doing a talk on. And so that was a genesis for that topic. And we'll be talking about various aspects. Because of the economy, more people are renting. So we want to get a little bit into that. Some of the pitfalls of renting, both from a tenant and landlord side. And then sometimes people are renting because they lost their house. And so what has happened in the area of foreclosure, not just in the mechanics of it, but the recent developments in foreclosure. And then, of course, our occupancy costs are amongst the highest in the country. So maybe we'll get a little bit into why that's happened.
So, Keith, they're out there. They may not have met you. Some of them will, some of them won't. What do you say to them to welcome them?
Welcome to ThinkTech. ThinkTech Wednesdays will be on 5 to 6. There will be other contributing hosts. I will be on every 4 Wednesdays. We hope that we bring you good radio, that you listen in, call in, ask us questions. Hopefully the topics will be interesting to you. And we're hoping for a better tomorrow.
It's clear that all these guys believe radio is alive and well. The radio is a great medium to educate and inform the public and raise public awareness about events, policy, and other things that matter to tech and Hawaii. That they're all committed to delivering messages that build community and support the greater good for Hawaii. And that drive time, especially in Hawaii's very special traffic logjams, is a great time to deliver and receive these messages.
We love good radio. The directness of it, the intimacy of it, the range and immediacy of its information, and the power of its message. It's all about the breathing, you know. On radio, you can hear it, feel it, even see it. More than that, we love good radio for building our community and supporting the greater good. That's what Hawaii's Tomorrow is all about.
If you want to know more about Hawaii's Tomorrow, check out hawaiistomorrow.com or just listen to 760 AM KGU radio from 5 to 6 p.m. every weekday, Monday through Friday. If you want to know more about ThinkTech, you already know what to do. Visit thinktechhawaii.com. And now, here's our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
On March 23rd, just 10 days from now, ThinkTech, HVCA, and UH Pacific New Media will present a major half-day program called Housing in Hawaii, dealing with our problems in providing housing for Hawaii's people. The program is sponsored by Hawaii Business Magazine.
On April 28th, ThinkTech and HVCA will present a luncheon program called Reciprocal Investments Between Hawaii and China.
And now, here's Bill Spencer, president of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association, with this week's Spensations.
Well, I think, Jay, we need to talk about housing in Hawaii. As you know, and hopefully your viewers know by now, we have a great program on March 23rd, a half-day event that is designed to address every aspect of the housing problem we face in Hawaii. Why is this important? I would say first and foremost, to have a viable tech sector, we need, along with quality education, quality housing. It's very hard to attract top-notch people when you look at the housing conditions we face in Hawaii today.
Yeah, I think it goes further than that too, though. It's not just tech, it's the whole economy. The problem is our housing infrastructure is aged, it is inadequate, and the new housing is either unavailable or too expensive. The result is that qualified, people leave town because they can't afford the housing, and qualified people who might otherwise come to town don't come because of the housing. Hard to recruit anybody for anything if they can't afford a decent house, and everyone always makes the comparison about what they can afford on the mainland, and the comparison is drear.
You aren't kidding. It bothers me every time I drive through Kaka'ako or Moiliili, the age of the housing. The university area as well, it's another area where our students put up with dreadful housing conditions. And how can you have a top-notch university when you can't even provide decent housing for students in the immediate area? It's a big challenge, and it's sad to me that our landowners who've made billions and billions of dollars off real estate haven't reinvested as quickly as they should, leaving areas like Kaka'ako just devoid of decent housing for so many years, when they're making a pretty penny off it.
Yeah, or another example would be Chinatown. Chinatown, the perfect place for loft housing. I know so many people who'd be delighted to live in Chinatown on second-story loft housing. It's not available. Why not? Is there a good reason for that? I can't think of a single one. So, and you have various little pockets of problems like that. Why can't KS build the housing project that it was talking about 10 years ago? Why can't General Growth do the one that it was talking about? Why can't we have rental housing? If land is going to be so expensive, why can't we find another model? The existing model doesn't work.
That's right. And there's a big gap, especially in rental. For people that can't afford the overpriced, poor quality housing, it drives up the price of what little rental housing is available. It's a mess, Jay, and I'm glad we're bringing this to the public's attention.
We'll try our best. We have 4 blue ribbon panels. We have a wake-up keynote. We have several intermission speakers. It is chock-a-block as usual. I mean, it's something every minute, but I'm sure that it's like the 3-point course in housing in Hawaii.
It's timely, and I'm glad we're doing it.
Thank you, Bill. I look forward to working with you on it, and I look forward to seeing you there, March 23rd, 8 o'clock in the morning. Check out hvca.org and register as soon as possible.
Register now. Space is limited.
Aloha, Bill.
Aloha.
Thanks.
We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of ThinkTech. But first, we want to thank our underwriters.
Thanks to the Scheidler Family Foundation. Jay Scheidler, through the Scheidler Family Foundation, supports a number of educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including ThinkTech.
Hawaiian Electric Company. HECO and its affiliates Miko on Maui and Helco on the Big Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho. Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company which has a large presence in and commitment to Hawaii.
The High Tech Development Corporation. HTDC is a state agency dedicated to Hawaii's tech industry and the diversification of our economy.
Okay, Tatiana. That wraps up this week's edition of ThinkTech. Remember, you can watch ThinkTech on OC16 several times every week, just like Duke Oishi does. For additional times, check out oc16.tv.
For lots more ThinkTech videos and for underwriting and sponsorship opportunities on ThinkTech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a sponsor. Help us reach Hawaii.
I'm Jay Fidell. Thanks for joining us on ThinkTech. Tune in next week for another ThinkTech show on subjects that matter to tech and to Hawaii. Aloha, everyone.
I'm Tatiana Cerullo. Aloha, everyone.